Jess, another disastrous night for you. Talk to us. What happened?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I told you guys before the game even started that, you know, I felt uneasy and uncomfortable just because of the last two performances. And we know Arsenal, they like to kind of capitulate in 2-3 game spurts. And so I wasn't quite sure how this game would go. And lo and behold, we're down 1-0 in the first minute. And that was the end of the game from there. You just can't make those types of mistakes in a title race. You just can't, you know? And like, I love Ramsdale, but, you know, like, what are you doing? It's ridiculous. Like, just concentrate if you can, because you can't start out a game like that. And then from that moment, just we couldn't defend. Like, Southampton, they're not a very good team, but they could come down the pitch anytime that they wanted and score a goal if they wanted to. Like, it was just that easy. And they scored three at the Emirates, which is ridiculous and embarrassing and unprofessional. And so that's the only way I can really describe these last three performances from Arsenal are just completely unprofessional. So many individual errors, so many really below par performances from players that should do better. And, you know, I think only maybe Martinelli, Trossard, Odegaard, to a certain extent, Saka can hold their head up high. Jesus was awful. Vieira, he should sit out the rest of the season and just look towards preseason because as much as I love him, like that was terrible. And I think the worst person on the pitch was probably Thomas Partey. And the reason for that is he's our highest paid player up there with Jesus. Um, and he played like Sambi today. He was ridiculous. I mean, it was it was a clown like performance from him. And it only takes one or two moments to see whether or not he has, you know, the ability to do anything good in a game. And he was actually at fault for the third goal. He gave it away needlessly, and then they scored on the corner. And it's just like the shot at the end. It's just honestly, Thomas Partey should be dropped from the game at the Etihad. And I know it's Jorginho coming in, but I don't give a fuck. I don't care. Like, what's the point if because when he's off even by 5%, you might as well have anybody in there. Anyone, you know? And you're 30, you're the most experienced person out there on the pitch. Most experienced because Xhaka wasn't there. And you drop an absolute zero of a performance. Like, I can't get over it. And on top of what happened against West Ham, I've been saying it over the last couple of days. I know why Arteta is looking at Declan Rice is because we need to move beyond this. You need personality in games like this and times like this in a title race. You need players that are going to grab the game by the scruff of the neck, and it shouldn't be 21-year-olds. It shouldn't be Nketiah and Reece Nelson off of the bench. It should be the guy that's being paid £250,000 per week in the middle of the park. It's a joke, you know? Title's done for me. Like it was done against West Ham. It was just done, you know? But I just thought at least against Southampton, you guys be able to show up. You can't. So title's done. We're not going to the Etihad and winning though. So there you go. Hate to break it to you, but I've seen the script, you know. But yeah, some of these guys have to look themselves in the face, like look in the mirror and like really stare hard. But yeah, and Holding is not fine, and I'm glad that gimmick is over because ever since he's been in the team, we've been shit, and it's not a fucking coincidence that we're shit now and we're conceding so many goals because he's in the team. The line is dropped back. Gabriel's having to defend for two people. It's not enough just to win a header here and there. You know, you have to actually be a decent footballer. Got to leave in the summer. I think I covered everything. All right.
No, absolutely. Igawa is obviously here with us as well. We are starring your super chats. We'll come back to them, mate. Excuse me, my cough. A disastrous night for you tonight. We'll get onto the ramifications, but I mean, Jesse said a lot there, and a lot of things that I think are some big home truths for Arsenal. Why is it? Why this lack of concentration, and why these 3 games on the bounce have you collapsed and either thrown leads away or just capitulated in performance-wise in these games?
First of all, I'm pretty sure I could speak for everyone here. I was utterly speechless in the first 15 minutes. We're facing the bottom of the league, Southampton, and we're at home. I get it, away from home versus Liverpool. even against West Ham, it's unacceptable. But you can maybe understand moments where the other team's going to be on top of you in the game. But for Ramsdale to make that mistake, it was basically what for not even forget about it. Ramsdale was pulled a De Gea there. He literally, I was talking about it yesterday. He pulled a De Gea there, made a mistake, put us under the pressure, and from there it was 1-0. But the moment that we got into the second half, I mean, the moment that we couldn't even get into second gear, and we were kind of like looking for passes. Bukayo Saka couldn't even find a pass in the midfield. Ramsdale, forget about Ramsdale at that point. The second goal was strictly defending. We couldn't pass in the midfield. We couldn't find anybody to show up to actually take pressure off of us. We didn't know what we were doing. 2 passes and boom, they're in the back of the net again. 2-0 under 15 minutes. And it's like we started to play. Finally, after we're 2-0 down, we're like, we're gonna start playing now. We're gonna finally show up. And we get the goal with Martinelli, and it looked like we're threatening, but nothing comes from it until the 80th minute. And I feel like that last 20 minutes actually pisses me off more than the whole game, because the last 20 minutes we look like we actually cared. We look like we actually playing the football that we played the whole season. We look like we're actually on top of them, and what we could have done for the whole 90 minutes. If we played like we did in that last 20 minutes, which we could, and we've done throughout this whole season, we could have bossed this game the whole entire time. I personally think it's a disgraceful performance. I think it's unfitting of a team that is as good as we are, and it shows today that we have a level of arrogance or mental lapse when we face these teams that we think we're better than. We probably walked into the game thinking we're going to win like it was nothing. And I could mention 100 individual performances, but to drop points 3 successive times in a title race, you are literally throwing it away. Everyone calling us bottle jobs. Fair enough. Call us bottle jobs, because that's what we're doing at this moment in time. It is. And you know what? If you guys want to talk about the title race done, City fully have an advantage. We've known this for a while. Advantage City. We've been saying advantage City, advantage City, advantage City. We no longer have that wiggle room. Advantage Manchester City. You guys, if they beat us, which they probably might at the Etihad, then it's done. But at this moment in time, I'm not going to sit here and say it's done. I hope and pray these players show up. I hope and pray these players wake the hell up, because we cannot coast through games expecting one person to be Superman every game. Where's the team performances? Where are the individuals that pick everyone up? Zinchenko was trying to lead everyone through this game. No one was listening to him in the huddles. It seems like to me, these guys are waiting for other people to slap them in the back of the head and say, wake the hell up during the game, when they should be already switched on. You're not, and Jess, you're 100% right. Mikel Arteta is looking at potentially replacing Thomas Partey in the future with some of these guys, because he's been having shocking performances. And as one of the leading players in this team that we all call world class, or we put up there as the best DMs, you're not showing it. This is 3 games running. You're not showing it. Last game we were talking about Bukayo Saka. You know what? He woke up in the final minutes. Where were the leaders? Where are the grown men in this party? Because I was seeing a bunch of babies out there, and it was sad to see. Because I've been backing these guys all year, and this could be the second year coming where we're fighting for something that we want to get, and the whole fan base is behind you, but these players couldn't get us over the line. I'm not going to turn on the players now. I hope these guys can turn it around, and they can show us that we're wrong to question them. But I swear to God, if they go to the Manchester City and play the same way they did in those first 15 minutes, we'll be down 4-0. I'm done.
I hear that completely, Gal. Brandon, from your point of view, like, we know what went. Why did tonight go so wrong, though? What is it that's lacking in this team to get them up for this game, concentrating from them opening minutes? A good solid foundation and start for you to, go on and pick up these much needed 3 points.
One word, Terry. I said it before. I'll say it again. Pussies. And nobody can argue with me on that one. Nobody. Yeah. The most disappointing thing about all of this is we haven't even had to make Manchester City work to get back into this title race. We have handed it to them on a platter. The last 2 games, based off the last 2 games, I can pick half of that team that should be dropped, let alone individual players. Half of that team don't deserve anything. The mentality is awful. How can you go in to a game at home against Southampton, bottom of the league, and concede 25 seconds in? And then on top of that, right, Jess mentioned about Gabriel having to defend for 2 people because Holding's at the back. Make that 3, Jess. Yeah, because Zinchenko cannot defend. That guy is awful at defending. Everybody wants to pick on Trent Alexander-Arnold because he's very good on the ball, but the guy can't defend. Zinchenko is the Ukrainian version. He's great on the ball. Excellent. But in terms of defending, he's at fault for 2 of those goals tonight. The second goal, he's not in position. The third goal, he's letting his man go on the back stick. What are you doing, bro? Like, seriously? Come on. This is ridiculous. You're supposed to be in a title race against Southampton. And now we're talking about we've got to go to City and win. You're having a giraffe. Never going to happen. There's no way. Go to the Etihad and win. Defending like that. You're mad. Mad. Absolutely mad. And with regards to us, you know, in the last 20 minutes getting the draw and all the fans in the stadium lapping it up. Oh, we got a draw. Does a draw do anything for us? That's embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. It's worse than last week. I couldn't believe that we dropped 2 goals again like we did against Liverpool at West Ham. But tonight, that just topped it all off. And do you know what tops it off even more? The players come out in the middle of the week. Granit Xhaka, Martin Odegaard, even Saka. Oh, we know we've got to improve. We know what we've got to do. You will see a reaction from us against Southampton. A reaction? I didn't see no reaction. The only reaction that I saw was when we was 3-1 down. Players are pussies. And it's very, very, very reminiscent of what happened last season, right? Top 4 in our hands. We're all chilled. Yeah, easy. We should get this top 4. Tottenham are nowhere to be seen. And then we hand it to them. And we've done exactly the same with Manchester City this season. And tonight, right, is not on Mikel Arteta. He picked his best 11 that he could possibly pick. And the players dropped an absolute stinker. The moment that it did become Mikel Arteta's problem, though, is when you don't make any changes at half-time. Fabio Vieira was awful in that first half. Zinchenko was awful in that first half. I could name 3 or 4 players that should have come on in that first half. Thomas Partey, another one, right? But to come out in the second half with the same team, no changes, no tactical change, no way of different way of playing. Like, I've got to question this guy because you don't just have a manager to pick a team and pick a style of playing, a way of playing. Your manager is there to win you points as well. Sometimes if you change something in the game, it can win you points. Like, Kieran Tierney should have come on for me, and Zinchenko should have been moved into midfield. But our manager's too arrogant at times. And he's too stubborn to see what's happening. But they will be there in the changing room celebrating the fact that we pulled it back. Load of crap. The season's over. Sorry, it is.
Can I just say this one thing, though? Like, did you see the guys after, like, I don't know if you saw the coverage after the game, Brandon. Those guys are not celebrating. They were collapsed on the ground. Like, they're not going to be celebrating that. They know they effed up. Like, let's be for real. Like, even the fans were silent at full time. Like, I get that we're upset, but like, I really don't think they're going to be sitting there.
Can I just pull it back though, Jess, to Odegaard, right? He scores the second goal. Go and pick the ball out of the net. Bring it back to the centre circle. Don't just run around celebrating and all that crap. We're 3-2 down.
He was trying to get the fans up. I really think like this is a little bit, and like, quite frankly, like, I really can't look at like Odegaard, Saka, or Martinelli. Like, the reality
Martinelli, definitely not.
Shit the bed.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Martinelli, was best player on the pitch for us, and he don't deserve to have what happened to him tonight because he was the only one in that first half, especially, that looked up for it. Saka did okay as well. Odegaard was all right as well, but there was players on that pitch that dropped an absolute stinker tonight.
Yeah, but let's be specific about who those players are, because my whole thing is like, I'm sorry, I can't get in on like 21-year-olds, guys that came in halftime. Like, I can't. It's the senior guys for me, and like, I have to be honest. Like, I really think Thomas Partey let us down, and Gabriel Jesus let us down. He had like 1.5 like XG today. Gabriel Jesus, he had so many chances to score. Like, be for real. You know, I'm just as upset as I am. I can't blame the kids. I can't blame them. Like, they shouldn't be trying to. We're still seeing what players are going to make it and are not and are built for a title race. I'm not sure that I think it's like Martinelli and Saka. I think it's some of the guys that are overpaid and a little bit older.
But can I just say, surely Martin Odegaard has to come under some sort of criticism as well, right? Because he is our captain. He's supposed to be our leader. I know we didn't have
his fault that Ramsdale. I mean, let's be real. Like, there's only so much a captain can do. Like, and he actually dragged us back into that game. Odegaard dragged us back into that game. You know, like, I know people. It's like, what was Odegaard supposed to do? Was he supposed to go back there and, like, what can he do? Can he go back in time and make sure that Ramsdale doesn't pass the ball straight into a Southampton player? Was he supposed to make sure that, like, I don't understand. Like, I'm confused.